Thank you for joining us, Mr. Farage. Now, Americans have seen a lot of clips. We know what an effective speaker you are. We know what a fearless speaker you are, going right to the seat of power and taking them on, speaking truth to them. I want to ask you what Donald Trump needs to do in this final debate tonight.
You see, I think that in the first debate, she had the better of him. And that's down to experience. You know, he was stepping up to a level that he'd never been at. I've been there myself. Yeah. I've done these big debates, and I know that when you're somewhat virginal going into these things, whether we can call Trump virginal perhaps is a matter of conjecture, but you know, when you're going into these things and you've never done them before, they're tough. But I felt by the end of the second debate, he completely dominated. He didn't just dominate her, he dominated the people doing the debate as well, the moderators.
He understood he was in a 3-against-1 situation.
Yeah.
And he called him out on it.
And he did. And he was right to do so. So I think psychologically, he comes to Las Vegas with the upper hand. She's going to be very nervous going into this tonight. She's going to play very safe. And I think he will go in and look for the knockout blow.
Let's talk to the voters for a second. But when I look at what you did in England, it reminds me of William Wilberforce, the guy who ended slavery virtually single-handedly. It's what you did when you went to the European Union and you said, we're going to get Britain out of the European Union. William Wilberforce, for his entire life, took on the moneyed interests, the multinational corporations that were involved in free trade of slaves. And so he stopped that slavery. It took him an entire lifetime to do it. The final vote to outlaw slavery occurred shortly after he died. So this is a long-term movement. We can go straight to the seat of power. William Wilberforce has shown that. You showed that to us in Britain with Brexit. We can take them on directly and we can win. It's a long-term game. They've been in it for a long term. This is a movement. This is what we see being started here in America behind Trump. And it's a movement that you started with Brexit as well.
Yes, and don't think that this is just America and Britain. This is actually happening across a lot of Europe as well, and very important that we remember that we've got people in France and Germany and Hungary and Italy and everywhere you go now. People are saying, you know, the global elite have led us very badly. The rich have got richer, the poor have got poorer. This simply isn't working. And the one thing I would say is, you know, whatever happens here on November the 8th, American politics is never going to be the same again.
That's right. Yeah.
It simply can't be, because you're right. Actually, I mean, Trump's not a Republican candidate. He's an independent.
Yeah. He's taken over the party from the establishment.
Yeah.
You're the ones looking in for him.
You know, and everyone's run away from him. Yeah. He's effectively an independent. Now, if he wins, and America changes course. But if he doesn't win, if the establishment win this time, that is not the end of this story. Because all those people that will have been motivated to stand up and do something, they're not going to go away. They're not going to disappear. So yeah, I think ultimately, you know, we've toppled the establishment in the United Kingdom. It took us a very, very long time and a whole number of false starts, but we've done it. And I think that is going to happen in the USA. It's just a question of whether it's this year or whether you have to wait a bit. I think we need to sort of start getting the ghosts of Thatcher and Reagan going on the small man and small woman who want to take risk, set up their own little businesses, and who ultimately create real wealth within the economy and create real jobs. And that is the opportunity that we now have. We voted for Brexit. Yeah, sure, it's going to take us 2 or 3 years to sort it all out. But we've now got a chance to move back towards a genuine capitalist system where people have got a chance of succeeding. And that, I think, didn't you guys used to call this the American dream?
That's right. And we used to call it a Declaration of Independence. We said we're going to take back our freedom, our property, and our self-governance from a small globalist cabal.
I would just finish by saying that whatever happens tonight in this big showdown in Vegas, you know, there's a couple of weeks of full campaigning left, and what the Trump campaign need to do is to try and get a national conversation going on the very things you and I have just talked about for the last 3 minutes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Farage.